चलो, I think we're all set. पापा जी शुरू करिए।
हाँ जी शुरू करिए।
ਚਲੋ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੇ। ਮੰਥਲੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਰਿਸਾਈਟਲ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ। ਸੋ ਜਸਟ ਅ ਬਰੀਫ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੀਏ ਜਸਟ ਅ ਬਰੀਫ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ। ਸੋ ਬਾਪਾ ਜੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਤਬਲਾ ਟੀਚਰ ਨੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ। ਸੋ 2019 ਵਿੱਚ ਬਾਪਾ ਜੀ ਮੂਵ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀ ਫਰਮ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਟੂ ਮਿਸ਼ੀਗਨ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਖੋਲ੍ਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚੇ ਇਨ ਪਰਸਨ ਤੇ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਤੇ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲ ਲੈਸਨਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਬਾਪਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਆਪ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ, ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਤੋਂ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ, ਤੇ ਵੈਸੇ ਜੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੁੱਕ ਫਾਰਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਪਾਈਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਾਰਾ। ਸੋ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਲ ਦੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਐਂਡ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਨੋਟ ਟੇਕਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਈਜ਼ੀ। ਸੋ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੀ ਤਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗਾ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਲ ਦੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਥੋੜੀ ਵੇਰੀਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ 2-3 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਲਾਈਕ ਤਬਲਾ ਵਜਾਉਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਵੈਸੇ ਤਬਲਾ ਦੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਹੀ ਵਜਾਉਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਬਟ ਕੁਝ ਹੱਥ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੇਨ ਬੁੱਕ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਤੇ ਰਿਆਜ਼, 3 ਤਾਲ ਬੁੱਕ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਭਾਜੀ ਉਹ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੋਣੀ ਅਬਾਊਟ 130-40 ਪੇਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਹੈ। ਮਤਲਬ ਖੁੱਲੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਟਸ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਾਇਦੇ ਪਲਟੇ, ਪੇਸ਼ਕਾਰ, ਗੱਤ, ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਨਾ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਡਿਟੇਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ 8-9 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਸਾਲ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਡਿਪੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਔਨ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ। ਬਟ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚਾ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰ ਲੇ ਤੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਬਲੇ ਦੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਬੇਸਿਕਸ ਨੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਈ ਇਹ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ। ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਹੋਰ ਬੁੱਕਸ ਵੀ ਲਿਖੀਆਂ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਰੂਪਕ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ, ਜਪਤਾਲ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ, ਏਕਤਾਲ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਲਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਗੇਨ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨੋਟ ਟੇਕਿੰਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਲਰਨਿੰਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੋਵੇ, ਨੋਟਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਲਤੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਤੇ ਆਡੀਓ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਅਗੇਨ ਇਹ ਬਾਬਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੰਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਕੋਲ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਅਗੇਨ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲ ਵੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਲੈਸਨਸ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 3 ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਨੀਵ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ 2 ਬੱਚੇ ਡਿਊਟ ਪਰਫਾਰਮੈਂਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਹੈਗਾ। ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਈਏ, ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਰੀਫਲੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ ਦਿਓਗੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਜਰਨੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਸਟਰੂਮੈਂਟ ਵਜਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਸਟਰੂਮੈਂਟ ਵਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਐਟ ਦ ਮੋਮੈਂਟ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ।
ਫਤਿਹ. Uh, I am very thankful to be a part of this live performance here for all these students. Thank you, Balaji, for letting me be a part of this. Just a little bit about myself. Growing up, at the age of 6, I started playing tabla for quite some time. But when I was about 12, I started playing violin, first in orchestras, very Western classical music. Over time, I started learning Indian classical music, specifically playing on the violin around the beginning of high school. And from there, that was actually my transition to learning on one hand tabla from Balaji when I was in high school, and also at the same time learning how to play Indian classical violin from Dr. Shishikana Dar Chaudhry, who is sadly passed away last year. But I am very fortunate to have had the opportunity to learn from both teachers. As of now, I teach where I can, playing violin, and I am still taking lessons playing Indian classical violin with Vidushi Kalaramnathji, who lives in the Bay Area. So that's a bit about me. That's my journey of learning music. Throughout my time, I've playing Indian classical music has always been one thing, but playing Gurmat Sangeet music has always been a very big part of my life. So growing up, you could see me at like very small age playing at gurdwaras, trying to learn and try to do kirtan as much as I can. And thank you everyone for letting me be here.
So Vijay, I don't know if I can ask you a question. So does tabla still continue with violin, or that's a secondary instrument?
I don't want to talk too much about in front of Balaji about how much I play tabla nowadays, but I I had this conversation with Balaji very earlier on this year about it's okay to do things in parallel and try to do both. But at the moment, playing violin has been my main instrument for the past 6 years, and tabla is something that I'm quite passionate about and looking forward to getting back into this year.
Yeah. So Baba ji, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ welcome ਕਰ ਦਿਓ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਮੋਸਟ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਜਸਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ, ਔਰ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਵੈਰੀ ਹੈਪੀ ਟੂ ਸੀ ਯੂ। ਔਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਤਬਲੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਸੋ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਸੋ ਯੂ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਬਿਊਟੀਫੁਲ ਹੈਂਡ ਐਂਡ ਗੁੱਡ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ। ਸੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਹੱਥ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਅੱਛਾ ਤਬਲਾ ਵਜਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਪਰ ਚਲੋ, ਮਲਟੀ ਟੈਲੈਂਟਡ ਹੈ ਔਰ वायलिन भी उन्हें अच्छा बजा रही है। सो इज वेरी वेरी बहुत ही, मैं छोटे होंदे तो जानदा इन्हां नूं, बहुत ही डेडिकेशन नाल तबला बजांदे सी। सैक्रामेंटो तो बे एरिया सिर्फ तबला सीखण वास्ते आया करदे सी। सो बहुत बहुत लगन नाल कर रहे सी, इस करके मैं हजे भी चाहांगा तुसी कंटिन्यू करो। और जी आया नूं तुहाडा प्रोग्राम ते, और बच्चों नूं आज सुनो, you will enjoy.
Juru. I do have to say, I think, for students who are learning with Balaji right now, I think Balaji has been a very instrumental part of my Indian classical music playing and music in general. I think the way he approaches it, teaches students is quite inspiring, and so I all I can say is I'm quite thankful that I had the opportunity from learning from Balaji, and yeah, thank you.
Vijay, I would say this is not a program about Babaji, but he's inspiring. His is not easy to work with. Manu, I can tell you what I've been through ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, but I would say ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੀਚਰ ਸੀਗੇ, I learned from him. I was like bored within a week. I was like, this is not for me. Then I got in touch with him, and it was a struggle. ਮੇਰੇ ਹੱਥ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹੇ ਸੀ ਵੈਸੇ ਬੜੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਨੇ, so I am a little doubtful of that comment. But I didn't learn as much, but at the same time, it was not something that I just said and this is not for me. It is something for me. I didn't get back into it, but it is inspiring, definitely. So thank you, Papa ji ਤੁਹਾਡਾ, ਤੇ welcome ਤੁਹਾਡਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਗਨੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੀਏ। ਪੁੱਤਰ ਜੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ introduction ਦਿਓ, and why don't you introduce yourself, ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਵਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, and then start your performance.
मेरा नाम गनीव सिंह है। मैं आज उठान, पेशकार, कायदे, गट, रेला, परण, टुकड़ा ਅਤੇ ਚੱਕਰਦਾਰ ਵਜਾਵਾਂਗਾ।
ਤੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਤਾਲ ਵਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ?
तीन ताल।
तीन ताल, चलो ठीक है, वेरी गुड, शुरू करो। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਗਨੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਲ 1 year ago you performed right so I'm seeing ਹਾਂਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੀ you've grown so much ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਤਬਲਾ skill is double of what you were a year ago and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਸਜਾਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ which I don't remember you wearing last time so great job ਤੇ I'm going to invite Jasdeep Veer ji to tell you about your performance
Yeah, that was a beautiful performance, Ganeep. How old are you?
मैं 10 साल लगा हुआ
Okay, so I think for your age, I think you performed beautifully, and I'm really happy to see kids at your age be able to perform at your level, and just hearing right before how you um, uh, doubled the amount of skill level that you have over this past year. That's something to keep in mind. One of these things is like playing tabla or playing any type of musical instrument. It's a journey, and so you always want to think long term. Baby steps. How can you improve a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't want to tackle everything at once, all at the beginning. You want to take things small, and so this performance, I really enjoyed hearing you play the gaidas, the gat, the chakradars, and something I always like to keep in mind is, and I'm sure Balaji has showed this to you, is one thing is when you're playing, when you first learn a composition, whether it's
YouTube पे ला TV पे
whether it's a kaida, the first thing I always like to do is say it first, right? Say it, get it under my lips, under my ears, and then when there's a lera going or like an electronic tabla playing, say it with the lera, right? And then continuously repeating it before I even before I even think about playing the tabla, right? That way, when it's in your head, you're not worried about what's the next bowl and what am I gonna forget next, right? It's always about, oh, how can I play this a little bit better? And so, one of the suggestions that I have is, always do that mental riyaz before you start playing the tabla, right? Get the composition down in your head, be able to say it very confidently in that with the lera, right? And when you're able to say it with the lera very cleanly, and it you start on the sum and it lands on the sum, right? That's when your how in Taal you are. You can find out all the small deficiencies. Oh, I'm speeding up in this portion. I'm slowing down in this portion, and that's how I catch up. But then, if I were to say it all out, then I can remember, oh, I'm not speeding up. Something, is something as simple as that guy there, right? But if you're I sped up that first portion, I slowed down the second portion, I caught up. As I say this out loud, then I realize, oh, I'm speeding up the beginning, I'm slowing down the middle, and then that's how I catch up. So, Ganeem, one of the things I would, think about is, try to, the more mental riyaz you do before you play the tabla, the easier it is to play the tabla. I don't know if Bawaji has comments on this as well.
Hanji Paji.
Yeah, definitely. बिल्कुल सही किया जितना ज़्यादा असी if you prepare with your mind, so main thing is picture in your mind. अगर ਤੁਹਾਡੇ mind ਵਿੱਚ setup हो गया, then ਮੂੰਹ ਆਣਾ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ easy ਹੈ, ਹੱਥੋਂ ਆਣਾ ਬੜਾ easy ਹੈ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ mind ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਰੇਖਾ ਬਣ ਜਾਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, ਉਹਦੀ ਪਿਕਚਰ ਬਣ ਜਾਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, then ਉਹ ਸਭ easy ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਬਜਾਣਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ mind ਦਾ ਹੀ ਬਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ basically. So you saying ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ right, ਮੈਂ agree ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ। ਔਰ ਅੱਜ ਗਨੀਮ ਦੀ performance 50% ਹੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕਿ usually ਵਜਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ 50% ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, but all over good, keep it up, and ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਬੜਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੋਮ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਦੀ, ਅੱਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਗਨੀਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਵਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਵਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਾਂ, ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਵਜਾਇਆ, good.
I would say Ganesh Singh, great job.
Yeah.
I don't know कि technically ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਵਜਾਇਆ, but ਜੋ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਵਜਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਰੂਪ ਸੀਗਾ, but I remember vaguely a year ago, I see like a big change from there. So I hope you continue. Take, Vijay's word, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ mental riyaz. We heard exactly these words, I think 5-6 sessions ago. So mental riyaz ਹੁੰਦਾ, let's say ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਤਬਲੇ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ, ਦੱਸੇ ਵਜਾਦੇ ਸੀ practical riyaz. Well, let's say you're sitting in a car, you're going around your business, and you have just a beat, a 16 beat. You start saying your bowl with the beat, or sometimes you just say it, and you see if you're, if without beat, they bowl sakte, know when you can just say it in your head, dha, din, din, da, da. You're saying it right? So that's a mental reality. I think the bridge haga, the gap you want to do is between your mind and your hands. I think that's the gap you want to bridge. Maybe that's with thoda ja na short circuit ho raha hai, but I think you did a great job. So good job. Thank you ji.
Thank you.
ਜੀ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 2 ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ, ਦੇ ਉਹ ਪਰਫਾਰਮੈਂਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਤਿਆਰ ਹਲੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ। ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਦੇਖਾਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਤਦ ਤੱਕ, ਆਈ ਗੈਸ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਜਸਦੀਪ ਭਾਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਰਾਈਟ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਬੱਚੇ?
हाँ जी, अच्छी है, let's see, मैं देखिया ना,
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਓਕੇ। ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਸੈਟਅਪ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ you tell us how do you do riyaz? Do you always do riyaz with the violin? Is that way, or do you also do like some mental riyaz?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think riyaz is, it can happen with or without your instrument. Riyaz is like, and it doesn't even have to be actively mentally working on it. I think riyaz could take a lot of forms and shapes. When I step outside, right, and I think of and I hear voices, or hear birds, or the city life, or the quietness, I think the thing is you're actively listening. And when you're listening, you find sources of inspirations of like, oh, how can I try this and fit it into my playing? How can I, when I listen to other musicians, that sounds very nice, how can I fit that in? And so I think what I'm trying to get at is riyaz can happen anywhere. it's, if you're thinking about new things to try, um, that's where all the curiosity builds up. All the curiosity, all the inspiration, and it just makes you that much more want to, come back home and try this out on the violin or try this out on the tabla. Um, and when you get there, sitting down and playing, um, I always try to make it a habit of, when I sit down and play, it's out of, never out of the need to do it, of, oh, I need to get this composition down, I need to be able to play these thons at this speed, or be able to play this gut at, this tempo, or this button at this tempo, or, oh, my tirikit at the end of the tirikita is not clean or clear, the dhati is, the D part is not loud enough or clear enough. Those things are always, those are always things that you're working on. But the motivation to sit down and play, um, it should come out of a place of curiosity and a place of, excitement. And I think that's how you think about playing music long term. Um, the reason, I sit and I play, it's mainly because it gives me joy, it gives me happiness, a calmness, um, and at the same time a bit of excitement. Um, and when you lose that spark, then it becomes very tough. Um, so all I can say, I think there's a lot more to say, but one of the tidbits that I would give is, when you come to play Riaz, it can happen in many forms, whether it's mentally thinking about a composition, getting sources of inspiration from different people, or sitting down to play. All of those things need to be approached with a very curious and inquisitive mindset.
Yeah, ਮੈਨੂੰ I don't know, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, because a lot of the kids, the parents want them to learn a certain instrument. I don't know if they are able to develop that right away. I think as they are into it, maybe over the years, maybe they start feeling some of that. I don't know
Yeah,
how
no,
if it was different for you as a kid, where you were, or you just really developed that, passion for
yeah.
what you're talking about.
I think, maybe to be a little bit more applicable to, you guys, like Ganeev. Uh, I think Riaz is something that's really important, to be able to play things technically. Ganeev, like something to play, start the composition on the sum and land it on the sum. Be able to play your hand, your hand position is, set. It's not jumping up and down, right? It's like very, very settled, and those things. What you want to do is think about those things to play, and learn how to play, so you can play the fun stuff later on. And that's the approach I always take, is like, oh, I need to learn how to play this cleanly so I can go and play the fun stuff nice. And um, I think that's the approach I would take. It's whether, for me, it's trying to learn things from different people. For you guys, it could be, let me learn how to play this tirikitable very nicely, so I can play the rela beautifully. And that kind of approach is it. I think you can translate. It has to be a play. A thing of determination and follow through, but it has to be backed by excitement, because you got to be able to play this small piece of the composition, this titikata gadi ginada, right, or dhatrika dikata. The trick needs to be clean, so everything sounds nice and balanced. So I think that approach is the suggestion I would give. Approach everything with like a view that you're like, oh, I want to be able to play this composition, and so what can I do? Bawaji, help me. How can I learn to be better?
Yeah, I agree. But they don't like sometimes like I think about the time I spend in tabla, and I was like, I spent so many hours, but I could have spent them more wisely. It would be the same amount of hours, but just putting more myself into it, I would have gotten more out of it. And I didn't think about that. It was just like, okay, I'm going to spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes practicing. Okay, practice, okay, kam khatam ho gaya. Didn't think more than that. And that's what, it's very hard to think at that age, but I think that's what we need to do when we are spending time, think about, make the most worth out of it. I think also, put your mind and heart into it.
Yeah, one thing I would definitely say is playing. As I said before, playing music it's a long term game. It's a long term investment, and you're not gonna sit there and learn everything at once. So when you sit down to play, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, wherever you start off, work on something small. You don't have to work on the whole composition at once. Focus on one aspect of the composition, whether it's as I said, the so that's one whole phrase, right? Maybe you want to focus on the kata gadigana, kata gadigana, kata 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 gadigana. That's how you come one day and you sit down and you're like, okay, I have this big composition I need to work on. How do I manage this? And you break it down into little portions. You'd be like, okay, today I'm gonna focus on right, and then maybe another session would be kata gadigana, kata gadigana, kata 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 gadigana, 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 right, um, uh, and then the next session you put them together, and so the baby steps you put yourself through allows for that kind of the progression of your skill.
Yeah, makes sense. Chalo, thank you, Virji. I think we'll come back to you. I think ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ Ayan and Dharamjit, you guys are ready, it looks like, to see ਆਪਣਾ introduction ਦਿਓ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਵਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, and you guys can start.
मेरा नाम अयान सिंह है, मैं 13 साल का हूँ। मेरा नाम धर्मजीत सिंह है, मैं 16 साल का हूँ।
ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੀ ਵਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, let us know.
जगताल, उठान, पेशकार, कायदा, रेला, टुकड़ा, चकदार and पन.
Okay, ठीक है, let's start. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਦਾ Ayan Singh, I think ਮੈਂ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ May of last year is when you performed last time and you performed with your sister. So and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੂਪਕ perform ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ, so it's a great job. I think what I noticed in your performance is that ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ball were clear on the tabla. I don't know, technically Fiji and Paji can tell you, but ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ball clear ਨੇ. I don't know how your transition has been since you lost your tabla buddy, but I think you're progressing very nicely ever since. Taranjit Singh, I also remember you, मैं check ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, you did teen tal at the same time. Performance of teen tal to jap tal is a big moment. I'm sure ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੂਪਕ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ. But it's a great shift. I put a mask on, so I couldn't tell exactly, but I could tell from what you were playing that you were not as nervous as last time. You were pretty nervous last time, I remember. So great job, both of you. Thank you. Majazi Paji Nukanga Bizi Paji, you tell kids about their performance.
Dude, no, it was a great performance, Ayan and Dharamjit. There's a lot of material that you guys, presented, and that's great, and I really enjoyed hearing everything. One of the things I always think about is, how am I gonna present this to my audience? How am I gonna present this to my to the people who are gonna listen to me? And so I think you guys did that very well. One of the things I think about is obviously you guys have your notes on the side right here, and you guys were referring to that a lot. Things to think about going forward is, how can I memorize this whole 20-minute performance such that I got it in my head, and now I can focus on other things, how my ta sounds, how my titta sounds on stage. Whether I'm being clear, how there's something small stuff like, how do I make sure the mic is in front of my face when I'm saying my bowls, right? So those small things are to think about. So one suggestion I have is obviously there's a lot of material, and it's quite understandable to have notebooks and whatnot. As you keep on progressing, and you guys are doing amazing, things to think about is how can I do that mental riyaz and memorize this and get after this guy that I'll put this gut in, after this gut then this button, and then I got parta 1 2 3 4 5 that are gonna go in this order, and we're gonna swap off like this. The more you do that riyaz, the more you practice with each other, the better in sync you guys will be. Lastly, I think some things to work on is like you could always focus a little bit more on your daya hand, and focus on efficiency, right? So when you play ta, right, you want to keep your ring finger down, and the more you go like this, the more, I guess, inefficient you are, right? You're working your heart or your hand even further. So think about, rather than how hard you hit, where exactly you're hitting, so that you can put as minimal effort in, but you can still maintain the very good quality tone. That's one for the kana, right, for ta and thin on the sur, and then as well, and very importantly for both you guys, is the shai, right, the titta. How you curve your hand such that you're not hitting your whole hand flat against the shai, but more of the pads right here, that you get the nice crisp sound. So those I think you guys are at a level to start thinking about those things. How do I want to sound? How do I want to think about my, what we call sound production? But overall you guys are doing amazing. I'm really happy to hear you guys perform.
Oh, Paji.
Yeah, already Jasdeep उन्होंने already सारा कुछ कहता जो मैं कहना सी. So बिल्कुल exactly ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਨ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਣਾ, ਔਰ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਭਿਜਵਾਉਣਾ. ਸੋ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਆਏ ਨੇ. ਜੋ ਹੁਣ ਅਗਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ goal ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ. So next step, what Jasdeep said, we have to work on the hand position. We have to find that actual sound, what we need, right? So ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਵਜਿਆ ਓਕੇ ਹਜੇ ਹੋਰ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਹੋਣੀ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਠੀਕ ਹੋਣ ਦਾ ਰਸਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸੋ keep it up, you're doing good job. Good.
Well, again, thank you both. When I remember last time you're performing from home. You didn't have masks on, so I'm sure that you've grown up too much. But I could just see in your tabla that you both have grown. That's anything, right? There's no limit to you can't stop and say I'm done with this. Maybe it's on a degree mildi at college and you think you're done with it, but you're never really done with anything in life. You could just progress and make it even crisper and sharper. And some of that just comes with age. Some of that comes with learning. It's not like the first day, second day, or the a year from now you just get that idea. You will see that in yourself. You say, you know what, it's all I can play all this. You played a lot of material. For me, it will be even a challenge to even think about all that material. I think you played a lot of material. I think what they're saying is you can play a lot of it. We know. Let's just make it that there's more heart into it. It more sounds like what you want to play. Because you want to play something, you're playing something, but it's not really what you want to play. What's inside of you. So that needs to come out, I think. So, both performance. Thank you, Tada Bodbod. Thanks for coming and playing. Hopefully, we'll see you another year and to a new high level for both of you. So, thank you. Virji, Tada, Virji, we are really over time today, but thanks for coming. Really enjoyed you. I was thinking one comment I would have, when you play violin, it gives you peace and quiet. Talking to you today, I don't know how much more peace and quiet a person could ask for. You seem very peaceful person. Anyway, so but whatever you're doing, your musical journey, best of luck to you. Keep it up. We need people like you in our community, in our surrounding with us to keep us in that mode. So.
Yeah, still with music, he also doing with a professional. What are you doing professionally?
So my day-to-day life is I do engineering work in the Bay Area, working on medical devices. That's my I did my undergraduate studies in engineering, and that's what I do full time. But music has been such a big part of my life growing up that it shares just as equal weight as my day-to-day job, if not even more.
Virji, are you one of those people who has violin in their trunk all the time?
I do. I think it comes with me wherever I go.
I've talked to people, even if they're truck chala rahe ne, even there's some people I know working in the Bay Area, and they go to this and they have a vajja in the back. I was like, vajja, that's going to get spoiled. But they have some musical instrument in the back, because when they think of something, then they need to get it out, play it, play that note. So it's like they can't resist, Some person was saying, they're working from home has been great because the vajja is right here. I can just get it from work, get off the call and do it. So, music is I mean, the bache, Ganeev, Ayan, Taramjeet, we're going to learn it. But I assure you, it's going to be bigger part of your life that you don't even imagine today. You would want to be with it because it will give you something that the world's not giving you. So again, Vijay, thank you so much. Sorry, we're so late. Thank you for your patience and thank you for being with us. So thank you, Tada Bodh.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah, and Saryada, thank you for hanging on. ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਗਲੇ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਵੇਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਵੀਂ ਪਰਫਾਰਮੈਂਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ। ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਕੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।